Ooh, 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 ooh.
All right, cool. It's been a minute since I made a video, so I'm literally a couple hours from leaving to go to Seattle to go see UW versus Oregon and Seattle versus Minnesota, I think. Not a huge football guy, but I'm going with a bunch of my old friends, so I figured I'd make this video about what happened last weekend, kind of before everything kicks off. So, day by day, I've kind of decided that making these sort of constant videos is just, it gets redundant, it gets derivative. I find that like the content that I'm talking about is like much less. So I figured I'd kind of break it down this way and try to do like weekly recaps, but in this case it being last weekend's recap. Ton of footage to follow, so hopefully I make good solid edits. But yeah, let's break down last weekend. Friday afternoon, it was pretty rainy. I knew my buddy was coming and he was gonna bring his dog. So I was like, all right, let me get all my errands done before the day. Kind of got super busy, picked up a bunch of different stuff, some beer, some other stuff, and then just kind of waited around for him. So I was downtown. He ends up meeting me and we go for a walk around kind of my favorite lake in the area, which was pretty sweet. Got the dogs together, they kind of just meshed. We brought them back here and then we headed out to my restaurant. And my restaurant, apparently I get 50% off. It shows you how kind of, you know, intoxicated I am when I actually go just as a patron, as a customer. But we balled out. We had some like shrimp appetizers, a lovely Caesar salad, stuff that I don't normally eat. We ordered a pizza. We got some pasta of some kind. It was insane. Even at the end, like I went up to the kitchen and I was like, "Yo, I want a dessert." And they're like, "Help yourself." So I opened the fridge, got like everything that I wanted, scooped some ice cream. It was crazy. And that's where we found out that the diggers are chumps, something that I will get into later. Basically, we get in there, we have a ton of food, ton of wine, and by the end of it, we both looked at each other and we were like, we're a little bit too drunk. So we grabbed a couple of bubblies from my car, walked down to the dock, and I don't know if anybody ever does this, but I always walk around a dock thinking like, oh, I wouldn't own that, I wouldn't own that, and like, all these boats are like way more expensive than anything I could afford, but there's some pretty nice ones down there. Hopefully I can drone and kind of show you what's going on there sometime. But yeah, we finished our walk and then kind of came back here and, you know, chilled out. That was kind of our Friday night. So Saturday rolled around and it was a little bit more rainy. So we started off, we took the pups down to this big field. It's kind of hard to explain, but it's kind of like a big field in the middle of a forest. It's a nice place to throw the ball, so we brought the dogs there, but it started to really rain. And earlier in the morning, I'd booked kind of a golf tee time at this 9-hole golf course that's on Bowen, which while we were there, I was like, dude, should I just cancel this? Like, I don't think we should do this. And through like just like so much back and forth where it's like, oh, well, we could cancel and do this, we could wait for the tee time, we could do that. Eventually on the way back, my buddy goes, dude, let's just go. If it's rainy, it's rainy, not a big deal. So after the dogs were nice and exhausted, we leave them here, we go down to the golf course, and it's a little rainy. It's a little rainy, but the good thing is there was no one there. It was completely empty, which was definitely pretty sweet. We got down there, teed off, and it was awesome. Our game kind of fell apart at the end once we started to really have the feeling of like, dude, we need some tequila, we need to itch it up, but we only had a little bit, so everything was good. After that, we came back here and just kind of like chilled out, had a little lunch. You know, didn't really do too much. It was definitely like overcast, so it wasn't as like sunny as it is now. But it was around this time. Afterwards, we went down to the beach where we were like, okay, let's burn off some energy. We did play some disc golf before, but the disc golf was so hard that I didn't even bother taking any footage of it. But we ended up going down to the beach. And at the beach, my buddy goes, dude, if you were to build a fort on this beach, where would you do it? And I started kind of looking around, was playing with the dogs, and I was like, what about over there? In this like little cave area. That was the wrong place to put it. He's like, what about over here? And there was this big like stump that had washed up on the beach, and he just starts picking up logs, and I'm like, all right, I'm picking up logs too. We had 3 layers on. By the end of it, we were in like t-shirts, just sweating our dicks off because it was like exhausting work. But we put together a fort. All that finishes. By the time we get back here, I make like chicken nuggets and fries or whatever. We both just kind of say like, fuck it, let's watch a movie. We get on the bed and the cutest thing happened. Both dogs hopped up and just like cuddled in between us. It was so cute. They've always been best friends. I talked about it in a video a couple times ago, but they love it. So Sunday rolls around. Sunday's a crazy day. I wake up a little earlier, decide, okay, I'm gonna book. We're gonna go golfing. It's gonna be tight. We're gonna do it again. I find out that a lot of other people in Bowen had that same idea. It was like one of the few days that it was nice. And sure enough, we get paired with 2 other dudes who happen to be on the Diggers. It's clear the Diggers are chumps. I think I'm a firefighter by trade. If you don't know what that means, look it up. But anyways, we get paired with a couple Diggers and we're like, okay, fine, let's make this interesting. We start playing a little game. And it was fun. But after 9 holes, they were kind of done. They had done what they wanted to do. And they got like, good vibes in them, but the Diggers are chumps. Everybody knows this. So we decided, okay, let's do another 9 holes. We had plenty of time. And this is when the tequila started to pull out.
I tell you if it was us. Man, our house in Rosewood, this shit too plush. It's cool, man. Got red bottoms on. Life is
Give
good.
it a cheers, yeah.
Life is good.
Life is good.
For the cheapest ring on the neck finger, little bitch. I done flew one out to Spain to be in my domain, automobile, bitch. Dropped $3 on the ring, I was running truck, little bitch.
So we saw a couple horses, we got a little crazy, and we're like, all right, dude, let's tee off again, let's drink some tequila and have a good time. And sure enough, like, we had a really sick round. Like, that last round that we had on Sunday before he dipped was awesome. Basically, that was that. We ended up going back to the village, kind of waiting for his ferry. I lost on the last hole, so I had to buy him dinner, which was actually really, really good. I think we had like fish and chips and like a beef dip sort of thing. And that was really, really tight. I really enjoyed that. So overall, I think my big takeaways for this weekend, number 1, Diggers are chumps. That's clear. Number 2, having like those little moments like really builds up a friendship, and I think that like I truly enjoyed it. We were laughing all the time. We weren't really like fucking around, and like, yeah, there were quiet times, but there were also times where it was just rowdy and fun. We were always kind of getting up to stuff. And third, it's awesome when I see Summit with another dog, especially his BFF. He's definitely like lonely-ish here. Like, I definitely take good care of him, and he's tired most of the time, but it's always nice for him to have some society around. So to see him kind of have a great weekend as well, kind of at the same time that I was with Cedar, it was the best thing that I could have ever asked for. So 10 out of 10 weekend. Diggers are chumps. And yeah, well, I think this is day 13. I might stop calling it days and more like weeks. But it's been awesome. I'm starting to really get a good vibe, and then hopefully something changes on the job front that we can make more of these special weekends down the road. So that's it for me. On to Seattle, and yeah, hopefully I can take some good footage of that and kind of sum up my trip in Seattle. So Later.